Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Now that we have a brand new crisis, we don't want to repeal the mistakes of 2008. Chief among these errors, policymakers refused to take action. Instead, they kept telling us they lacked the authority to make common sense moves that could have seriously blunted the impact of the crisis, resulting in stronger financial institutions, a shallow recession, and far fewer job losses. They hid behind the law. They sought bogus approvals. They were in the end weak, bewildered, and scared even, and anxious to avoid making decisions for fear of non-existent penalties and enforcement actions. Some just they couldn't take it. This time around, we have a similar set of common sense moves that could tie the system over while we deal with a serious public health crisis. And we know this crisis can be controlled because they've controlled it in other countries like South Korea. If we started testing people for coronavirus en masse, I know we still don't have enough test kits, and we put the financial worries to rest, creating confidence, I think we can beat this and not have you lose all of your money at the same time. But sadly, the only way to beat COVID-19, I believe, is to risk a recession. And I think after this week may already be in one. We need to slow the spread of this virus, and that means rules against gathering, rules that make people stay home, rules that are very bad for business. That's why we need a massive federal intervention to keep businesses afloat or see our nation unravel financially right in front of us while we conquer COVID-19. If we're not careful, what can we do? Right, first, concrete. Forget a payroll tax cut. How about a wholesale postponement of federal taxation until the outbreak is over? You can make up your back taxes after the virus is beaten. Given that interest rates are incredibly low right now, it would be easy for the Treasury Department to borrow $500 billion to keep the government funded in the interim. I am mindful of what Senator Warren said. We must at least do this, though, for those in the middle class. They'll spend it, which we want. The rich do not need this break. They'll save it. She's right. But the government can go without our money or anybody's money and our company's monies for a while if they do that bond offering. Second, the government needs to create a gigantic fund to provide interest-free loans to small businesses if they agree to keep on their employees and give them paid sick leave through this downturn. We need people who are sick to stay home, and that's the best way to stop the spread of this disease. Third, large companies are furiously taking down the revolving credit facilities all at once. While the banks here are well capitalized, better than ever, they still can't handle that kind of pressure. We need government backstops to those loans, even guarantees, so that this coronavirus-induced recession doesn't spark a financial crisis. Oh, I know they're going to say Dodd-Frank and this, and that's classic. They're just going to, don't belittle this, I'm right. Fourth, the sudden decline in oil prices is a disaster for the oil industry. Many producers are now flirting with bankruptcy. We love lower oil prices as consumers, you and I both, but America is now the largest oil producer on earth, and this industry does employ a lot of people. So I think the government should use this opportunity to buy cheap oil for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That way we maybe put a floor in it. Worst case, we end up with too much crude that we can sell at higher levels when the economy recovers. The president should go with that, even as I know he wants prices at the pump low. He wants a bargain for the government. Fifth, the Federal Reserve needs to buy mortgage-backed bonds, not treasuries, mortgage-backed. Despite the incredible decline in long-term treasury yields, the rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage hasn't budged. In fact, it actually went up a little this week. You know, I got a lower mortgage several years ago when the 30-year treasury yields were much higher. If the Fed buys mortgage bonds, well, then we can get those rates lower, and that will boost the now flagging housing market. Six, waive student loan debt for the next 3 months. Suspend payments. That will immediately put money into the system that isn't there. Of course, I can already hear the naysayers. This one's blocked by Dodd-Frank. This one creates moral hazard. This one might be illegal. This one needs both houses of Congress. Oh, give me a break. These are not normal times. If we don't do something like this six-part plan, we're going to have a serious financial emergency on top of the public health emergency. So what if we need Congress on board? Get them on board. This is a crisis, for heaven's sake. So many of these potential problems are easily mitigated if the government will only take action. Please, I'm begging everyone in Washington, come together. Don't make the same mistakes that caused the last financial crisis. We know what they are. We can stop this. Just do it. Stick with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.